What is up, guys? Unforetold here, and if you're one of the 35 people who are still miraculously subscribed to this channel after like 15 years, you're probably wondering what the heck. The last time I uploaded a video, I think I was 16, 17. I am now 31, so a little bit has changed, including me finding the password to this YouTube account after this much time. But what the hey, why not? I still game once in a while, so post some videos. Anyway, if you're interested in how embarrassing it was for us to upload videos when we were in grade 9 and 10, check out some of our older stuff. It's a trip down memory lane. For today, I'm dipping my toes in nice and easy. I'm just gonna do a quick guide on how to turn this 69 Charger into a pretty beginner-friendly drift monster. Super easy to control, especially if you aren't that skilled with drifting. I'll go over the parts and the tune, and it's only about 180,000 to buy out in the auction, so it's not too hard for anybody to get. It's also a Forza Edition with a drift boost points, which will give you extra accolades or whatever for your car. So let's go over the parts. Okay, so I wanted to keep this in the S1 category. It's a good, happy place to be if you like to do Horizon Open type stuff. Nothing too crazy. I upgraded pretty much everything on the engine. I believe I kept the original engine. Let me check. Yeah, we have the original engine in there. Rear-wheel drive drivetrain, and of course added the supercharger. For braking and suspension, did drift springs, of course. Race weight reduction, of course. And drivetrain. Transmission, I kept it stock because it's a 4-speed, which is perfect for drift. I think that's what it's set up for originally. Ideally, with drifting in this game, you want to be running most of your drifting in like second or third gear. So drift diff, of course. And then for tires, I left it stock rims, drift tire compound, so nothing too crazy there. Added the narrowest sidewall possible for these. And then we'll go into tuning. So the tune is kind of where this makes all the difference. I left the rear a little bit higher pressure. This brakes traction easier. Left the front a little bit lower. Gearing. You pause the video here if you want. This is pretty important. Your first will snap you in pretty quick for the entry. Second and third is where you want to hang out for most of your drifting. I find I hang out in third most of the time. And then fourth is kind of in there in case you want to get some speed on straightaways for whatever reason. Helps if you're in free roam. Alignment, nothing too unexpected here. Negative camber all the way to on the front. Rear is kind of in the center. Toe out, of course, for better entries. And there's less snapping with this. Anti-roll, I didn't do much to this. Springs, kind of left it here. A little bit stiffer in the front, softer in the rear. You could probably stiffen it up if you want, but it won't make a huge difference. Same with damping, it won't make a huge difference. Aero, kind of irrelevant for drifting, at least from my perspective. Braking is pretty important. You want the brake balance to be in the front. This means you have less... Okay, now that the ambulance is gone. You want most of your braking force to be in the front. This will allow you to brake traction on the rear a little bit easier without having to use the e-brake, but that only works if you pair it with the differential. You want both acceleration and deceleration to be pretty locked in on high. That about covers that. The other thing you want for this setup is in settings to actually be able to drift. Doesn't matter what the drive-atar difficulty is. Driving assist, you want braking, anti-lock on. You could turn this off. I leave it on. It won't affect you too much. Steering is standard, traction control off, stability control off, and then shifting has to be manual, whether you're used to that or not. That's the only real way to maintain these long drifts. This ultimately gets you is a car that can handle the corners pretty well and in a very controlled manner. You don't really have to be worrying about hitting the brakes too much. It's all just playing with the throttle to steer. One thing I will say is if you're not using the throttle to steer, actually cornering is kind of hard. It tends to understeer. You can basically hold a drift for as long as you want. No e-brake necessary. You can just use the regular brake, which I find a little bit easier. It's more controlled. And you just pretty much hang out in third the whole time.
Turn right. Arrived at your destination.
I hope you found that video helpful. I might do this again in the future at my own pleasure. Kind of bring this channel a little bit more back to life. Thanks. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.